tuning in. I sat down with Senora Scott today, who is a published author. She also works at KLST and KSAN, and she is a gym-goer like everybody else. We discuss what the crazy schedule is for her and her job. We discuss why it is so important to love yourself, love others, and stay kind, along with so much more. We hope you listen to the whole episode and make sure you hit that subscribe button, you guys. See you soon. Are you looking for a new protein supplement, or maybe you need a refill on pre-workout or creatine? Hop on over to Maximus Nutrition over on Sunset Drive and Knickerbocker. They can hook you up. Hello. Welcome back to Everything and the Gym. I'm your host, Shelbi, and today I have a lovely guest with me. She's an author and so much more. But before I tell you who that is, we have to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Training from the Ground Up, Orange Theory Fitness, CRC Roofing, and Maximus Nutrition with all the shakes, you guys. Who are you?
Hello. Hi. I am Senora Scott. I'm so happy to be here.
And how old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay. Now, my next question for you is, what do you do?
Okay, so I am the assistant news director at KLST and KSAN here in San Angelo. And I also host a lifestyle talk show called Concho Valley Live at 4 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. And like you mentioned, I just wrote a book. I'm so excited.
I can't wait to dig into that.
Yeah.
But before we dig into all of that, let's rewind the clock.
Yes.
What was growing up like for you?
Okay, so growing up, I came, from a really small town. Ranger, I graduated with 28 people, if that kind of gives you an idea of how small it was. Everybody knew everybody, AKA everybody's all up in your business, all the time, small town things. But I loved it. I mean, it really shaped me, into the person I am today. And, I love everybody that I grew up with, and still keep up with them. And I grew up, so my family had a ranch. And so we raised cattle and goats and, just did all the ranchy things. So from the very, very beginning, I was a pretty active kid because I had to be, you're feeding stuff and, working the cattle, working the goats, jumping out of the truck to get the gates and back and forth, so you're given physical jobs pretty early on. Yeah. As soon as you can, walk on your own. And but I love it. I love it, and I cherish that time so much. Having an agriculture background, it really, like I said, also shaped how I am, today, which kind of translates into fitness, kind of the discipline, the determination, all of that.
Did you play sports growing up?
I did. Yeah, I did. So in Ranger, we had like baseball and softball for the little kids. And then I don't know, do y'all remember Pips? Players in progress for basketball. I don't know. It may have been just a song. But so we had basketball, kind of more like summer type stuff. So I did that, as a child, and then got into junior high, was a cheerleader all through high school, played volleyball and basketball all through, middle school through high school. Dabbled in softball and did tennis for like a year, but I was horrible at it. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. But so I was I was an athlete from really childhood through high school. And then in college, played intramurals and, just with random people, we'd meet up at the gym and stuff. And so, I've always been an athlete and very active. Yeah.
Okay, so you graduate high school. What does college look like for you? What is, the plan?
I kind of didn't have a plan, honestly, because, I always loved watching news. That was kind of like mine and my mom's thing. We would watch it together at night and, get the stuff ready for the next day and iron the clothes and like, you know, kind of do those things together while we were watching the news. So it was always a big part of my life, but I never thought that I could actually do that.
Yeah.
And so going into college, I didn't really have a plan. And I always credit/blame my brother for this, because we were in Walmart one time. It was, you know, because that's what you do in a small town. You go to the next biggest town and you go to the Walmart. So we were in the Walmart, and I was just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? You know, talking to everybody. And he looked at me. So we're very opposite. So he's an introvert, you know, quiet, like the stoic type. Me, I'll talk to people. And without being prompted. And so he looks at me and he's like, do you have to talk to everybody? And I was like, well, yeah. And so that really clicked, like, okay, kind of talking. Okay, there's got to be something here. And then I went to, you know, like they introduce you to all the things at the university, like that type of thing, like an orientation type of thing for ASU. And I saw a big booth and it said communication. And so I went up to that table. I was like, okay, well, so what can you do with a degree in communication? And they were like, well, a lot. And so then that kind of started it. So yeah, I just was like, okay, I think I can do this. And yeah, it just took off from there, really.
How long were you in college?
4 years, yeah, the typical 4 years. We had a program like dual credit in high school, so I already came in with some credits, like the basics, because I'm horrible at math. So I took math and got it out of the way, and then came in. But yeah, it was the full 4 years.
Yeah. Was any of it challenging?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So how the program was before, it focused more on kind of the marketing, the public relations type of communication, not necessarily the journalism and news broadcasting type of, you know, the industry. And so I found out real quick when I got my first job, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like you didn't know anything.
What was your first job?
So actually, I had several. So I kind of going back to my senior year of college, I spent my spring break shadowing at the news station here at KLST in KSAN. And because I'd met some people who worked there, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to follow you around. And so I did that during spring break. And so then I was graduating, you know, like a month or so later. And the news director actually called me and she was like, hey, I've got this part-time position. I remember you were up here, you know, would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, like getting my foot in the door. Because I always wanted to be on air, but this position was a producer, which is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so it was for that. And so I was like, well, yes, just get me in the door. Yes. And so I took that position. And then, you know, things happen and everybody's short-staffed and like everything, even back then. So I soon got to fill in on the desk and fill in kind of reporting and doing those on-air things. And but it was still part-time. And so I also wrote for a magazine, so did kind of the written print version of the industry. And then I had a job at ASU still. So I was working all those three jobs during that period of time for a couple almost 3 years. And then another position came open, a full-time position for reporting, which is more on air, at a different station. So I took that and then was there for about 5.5-ish years, maybe a little more, and then went back to KLST and KSAN, where I am now, in 2019, as a digital person. So I would create like long form, you know, kind of documentary style, you know, videos and stuff, and articles and whatnot for the website. And then just kind of went on from there. You know, this assistant news director position came available. And so here I am.
Did you ever imagine when you started like your communications journey that you would be in the spot you are now?
No. No, absolutely not. I never wanted to be in management, at all whatsoever. But so when I was at the station before this, some things happened and I kind of got, voluntold, like, hey, you're going to be the interim news director. Mm-hmm. And so I had to manage all these people who were, a few moments ago, like my BFFs. Yeah. And so kind of overcoming that difficulty and with like no guidance, no help, no nothing. And so I just had to figure it out. But I think, in the end, it was a gift because, it taught me a lot. And I had to figure it out because there was nobody else. And so then now this time, my second round in management, it's a little bit easier. I know more what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you get to be on air at on air?
On air every day, Monday through Friday, that lifestyle talk show called Concho Valley Live. So it's very hyper-local, community-focused. We'll have guests come on and share about, their nonprofits or their events or organizations who are, doing great things throughout the community. We have Foster Care Friday, so we talk to a bunch of organizations involved in the foster care and adoption process that are here locally that are working to, create change and, good things, within that system and within our community. And we have, public safety stuff. We have Trooper Tuesday, and not everything is in alliteration, I promise, but and has a catchy name. But we'll have all kinds of people from all walks of life on there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does it change your life, like talking to these people?
Oh my goodness, yes. Because you realize like. You think, okay, I'm having a bad day, but then you talk to somebody else who's had a, way, way more horrible thing happen, to them. And, but yet they're using it to do good. And so it hits you. Yeah. It definitely hits you. And so you're like, okay, I can be better, because I've talked to them and I've heard their story, it's motivation for you to be better.
Yeah. Did you hear that, guys? Go be better.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk book.
Yes.
Why did you write a book?
Oh, goodness. Okay. So that kind of goes back to being in management. So even when I wasn't in management, I was usually in a senior mentor role. Even with just a couple of years of experience, it just turned out, I was the one with the most experience. Yeah. So, I just ended up in kind of a mentorship role with everybody, no matter where I worked. And I kept seeing the same problems and issues that they were having over and over and over and over and over. And so, especially when I got into management. And, I think it goes back to, what's being taught in the colleges. And because I speak to a lot of different, or at a lot of different universities and to a lot of college kids. And there was just this gap, I guess. So with what they were not being prepared for. And so that really started it. And so I just kind of it started off as really more like a blog type thing that I would, send to my fellow coworkers. And we have I created these things called either Tutorial Tuesdays or Workshop Wednesdays. And we would get together once a week and kind of go over some of this stuff. So I already had the material basically written. And I was like, okay, well, this is a problem that I keep seeing. How can I get this out to more people? And so it just seemed like, okay, well, I'll just put it together in a book. Hopefully it helps somebody. And so, that was just kind of the motivating factor is I just kept seeing the same issues over and over again. And, they weren't really prepared for the real world and how the industry really is. And so once reality hit them when they got in those positions, their first job, their second job, it was like, just chaos because they didn't know how to handle it and they didn't know what to expect. And so that's really what it is about, is kind of, it's tough love. Yeah. It's definitely tough love. It's real world things that you're going to run into. But I would rather...
Is this for journalism world?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got some, career, just career advice, no matter what your career is. It's got stuff in there for that, but it's more geared to the broadcast industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of, a dose of reality, like, hey, but let me, your big sis, tell you before you get out in the real world.
What is your book called?
It's called New to News, Navigating Your Journalism Journey.
And where can people find this?
On Amazon, on here locally, it's at Old Town Books. It's in all of the branches of the Tom Green County Library. And, what is it? iBook, for your iPhone. And then for Android, Apple Books, yeah. And then for your Android, Google Play. And then Barnes & Noble online.
I am going to ask a question that I don't know if I'm going to get to ask anybody else. What is the process to have a book made?
Oh, goodness. So it was very interesting. I definitely call it a God thing because I had thought about, putting this together in a book, but I was like, okay, I don't even know where to begin. Well, all of a sudden, this email shows up in my inbox from a publisher. And I was like, okay, God, I hear you. And so I responded and we started talking. And so that's the publisher that I went with. And so really you start off, you send in your manuscript, which is just your kind of first draft of your book, what you have so far. And it either gets approved or denied. And so once it gets approved, then you kind of just start going, just everything starts happening. So you go through that process, the editing process, the formatting process, doing the cover, designing all that stuff. So it took about almost 2 years from start to finish. And it probably... they are a smaller company, so it probably took a little bit longer than maybe if you have, a larger company with more staff. So that's maybe something to keep in mind. But it was about a 2-year process. Yeah.
Was it expensive?
They have, and that's another reason why I went with them. They are pretty affordable. They have different plans, so it just depends on what you want as far as. Do you want them to edit it? Do you want to just send it in and have them publish it? I was like, no, I got to have somebody edit it, because tell me what commas where, like all that stuff. But it depends on how much you take advantage of their services, basically.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Have you gotten good feedback from it?
Yes, I actually have. So it's in 6 universities right now. They, the professors have chosen it. Thank you to all of them. Have chosen it for their students because it is that more real world. It's not a textbook.
Yeah.
It's not gonna you can actually relate to it and read it in like one sitting if you want. Because I wanted to make it easy to read and keeping that kind of high school collegiate, attention span in mind. Because in college, I didn't want to read a whole bunch of stuff. You're already reading so much. So it's to the point, very direct. But I've gotten really good feedback, actually, because of that. It's not a textbook, and it's, oh, yeah, man, you can put stuff how I can actually understand it. And so, again, I wanted it to be, I'm your big sister telling you, like, hey, you might not like what I have to say, but I love you, and so I'm telling it to you because I love you to get you prepared for your next step. So that's where it's coming from, and that's kind of the tone of it.
Will you show off your book?
Oh, yeah. Hello. There it is.
So pretty, all orange.
Yes. I wanted it to stand out on the shelf.
Yeah. All right, let's get into fitness.
Yes.
Okay, so fitness has kind of been a part of your life. What does fitness look like for you right now? Right
now, it's always been, I call it like my therapy, my anger management, It's how I deal with stress. I learned very early on, that's an outlet for stress and how you can deal with that. And so that's what I use it for now is, of course, to deal with all of that. But, it's just really become even more important for me as I, get older. I want to take good care of my body so it lasts me longer, you know? And so that's, just taking care of yourself really is how I view it now for the future and looking, long term.
How many days a week do you work out?
It kind of depends. Usually weights probably 4 to 5 days a week, just how I do my split and everything. And then maybe some active recovery, maybe some cardio sprinkled in. So 4 to 6. Yeah, I'm just an active person. So I try to be, active.
Yeah.
Walking even, just anything.
All right. So let's talk into that active lifestyle. What does a day-to-day look like? So what time do you wake up and then all the way until you go to bed? What does that look like?
Oh, goodness. Well, it is kind of difficult to keep a schedule in this industry because sometimes, you'll have shoots that start at, or if you're on the morning show, like if I fill in for the morning show, I'm up at probably like 1:30 a.m. and then get to work 2:33, and then, you're off by like 1 p.m. And so it just depends on what, I guess, cycle you're in. Thankfully now I've kind of transitioned to more of your typical, 8 to 5 schedule. So, but yeah, it depends. Sometimes I fill in, or we have stuff going on in the evening. So that's a 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. schedule. And so it's kind of chaotic. So, I try to wake up, at least give myself a couple hours in the morning to try to just have that time, that quiet time and everything. And then, go to work. And then that looks different pretty much every day because I do still go out on shoots and go, film stuff and interview people and things like that from time to time. So, it's kind of one of the reasons I love the news business is because it's different every day and you never know what you're going to get. You can kind of plan some stuff ahead, but sometimes you just never know what you're going to get. Yeah. And so then I'll go to the gym after work and then, go home and cook and all that stuff.
Do you, because your schedule is everywhere, do you meal prep or anything like that?
I do, yes. I try to as much as possible. Of course, sometimes I'm a slacker and I don't get it done. But yeah, I try to as much as possible.
Yeah. What are some of your go-tos for prep, like meal prep?
Ooh, I love a good roasted sweet potato with some cinnamon and stuff, and just, ground beef, seasoned and everything. I do season my food. I season it. But yeah, that's a go-to, and it's pretty quick to make too. And then, let's see. I love, vegetables, but the crispy, crunchy, I don't cook them down too much. So that and maybe some grilled chicken with that. I guess kind of your standard, what everybody does.
Do you have time for hobbies?
Well, it's kind of funny because photography, videography, stuff like that is my hobby too. And so I can kind of merge those worlds, work and having some hobbies. Going to the gym is my hobby. And, being active. I do love being outside. And so I'll try to go to a bunch of state parks or a bunch of pretty natural areas and hang out there. So, yeah, I do love being outdoors.
Yeah.
That's a big hobby. Yeah.
All right. Do you see a second book coming into play?
I would love to. Yeah. I want to, kind of continue this theme of just how I look at journalism. Journalism's purpose is to help people. A journalist's true purpose is to help people. And so I want to do that and continue that. Maybe it's through, something similar like this, but for a different audience. And, maybe how to communicate with journalists and how to talk to, everybody where everyone understands each other and can get along. So, so maybe.
Maybe, guys. Okay, is there anything else you would like to include in this first segment?
Oh, man, I don't know. We talked about a lot.
We did talk about a lot.
I don't know. I think we got it all.
All right. Yeah. We are going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be back for Deck of Cards. A major shout out to our ongoing sponsor with Maximus Nutrition. So, I have some homework. Every time you go into Maximus Nutrition, I need you to tell them that you heard this commercial on the podcast so you can get a sticker. Every time you mention everything in the gym, they'll give you a sticker out of this box. Go get your shakes, you guys. And we are back with our Deck of Cards segment, which is sponsored by Training from the Ground Up. All right, you get to pull the blue card first.
All right. Should I be nervous?
Maybe.
What are we doing? Oh, I got two.
These are real life questions.
Okay. What is your favorite childhood memory and why? Oh, man, that's a good one.
We both answered this one, so if I need to go first.
Let's see. Probably anytime, kind of going back to the ranching aspect and how I grew up, I always loved going out there. So really anytime I got to go out there.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you were doing again?
Just, taking care of the animals. There's always something that needs to be done. All the ranchers are like, oh my goodness, yes. A fence always needs to be fixed or a water tank or something like that. But just being out there really, because you're just in nature. Like there's, especially back then, there's no phones, there's no nothing. It's just you and the animals in nature. And so I think that's really what I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that there was a time like that.
I know. How about you? What's yours?
My favorite is my mom took me and my sister. I think I was like 9. My sister was 3, somewhere around that age. Yeah. She took us to the beach for an entire month. And so we had like a beach rental, and it was like a short walk from the beach. It was so amazing. I love the beach because of that vacation.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
If I could take a whole month and just go live at the beach now.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. All right. What was the last book you read and enjoyed?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably, so Mitch Albom is my favorite author. One of his most recent books, it's called The Stranger in the Lifeboat. Mm-hmm. Yes, Stranger, I believe. Something about a lifeboat and a stranger. But anytime I pick up his book, I know I'm going to read it cover to cover, and I have to allot time for that. So basically any Mitch Albom book, but yeah, that was the last one I read by him. Mm. Yeah.
What kind of genre is he?
He is so he was actually a sports journalist. So he has a lot of like sports journalism related books, like real, nonfiction. And then he kind of transitioned into more, I don't really know how to describe it. So he does have some fiction books and some like nonfiction books, but there's a faith element to it. And the way he tells stories, it's just great storytelling. Yeah. It's great writing. So there's usually like a moral, a lesson, faith-based type stuff that, I guess that would be in his books.
Yeah. I, of course, the people that are watching that are regulars are going to know the answer to this. Yeah. The last fiction book I completed was Iron Flame, the second one to Fourth Wing.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Which is about dragons and dragon riders. And I started the third one, and I just could not finish it. But I'm audiobook because I got a million other things to do.
Say you're busy.
Yeah, and so I have not made it through the third book, but I am listening to 7 Ways of Highly Effective People.
Oh.
And so that one's been good to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy some kind of self-help.
Every now and then. Yeah. It's just like, I should probably learn something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, this one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ooh, which muscle group is your favorite to work out?
I am still in a boot. Yeah. So I would say right now it's back. Yeah. It's the one thing that I can like really consistently work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it is legs. I do love a good leg day. And then back would probably be my second. Yeah.
There's been multiple people that are like, leg day's my favorite. And I'm like, no.
No. Yeah, painful, but good.
Yeah. What is something that you have experienced that's changed your life?
Ooh, so the first thing I immediately thought of is working with veterans. So I've been able to go on 5 honor flights throughout my career, which they take veterans from World War II, the Korean War, and then the Vietnam War. To Washington, D.C. to see all the memorials. And so for a lot of these veterans, it is basically the first time they've talked about anything that they've been through, because they're with a bunch of other veterans. And so they're able to kind of, have people they relate to and share. And so, because a lot of, back then they were like, oh, no, just keep it inside. Like, just ignore it and it'll, maybe go away, but you don't want to burden anybody with it. So that was kind of the mindset, back then. So, but now, going on these flights, it's such a healing experience for them. And you'll see men who have probably never cried in their entire lives just, weeping at these memorials and kind of, reliving it, but getting it out and really confronting those emotions for the first time and everything that they've been through, the pain, the trauma, all of it. And then seeing that their transition from when we board the flight and like the day before and like we're getting to know each other, and then from when everything's over and we're home, it's a 9-day change for a lot of them. And, seeing that and covering that and helping, tell their stories and documenting that as a journalist is just, it's so impactful. There really aren't words to describe how powerful it is. Yeah.
It's like heart
I know,
strings
it's like,
just listening to you.
I
cannot imagine. I bet it's a beautiful sight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Back whenever I was 13, I went to Europe for a whole month. Yeah, a whole month. And I went with a group called People to People. And it was me and like 50 other children with a few chaperones. My parents did not go with me. They paid at the time, it was a great price. They paid $6,000 for me to go and do all of these adventures, my eating, my lodging, my flights.
Wow.
You can't catch that now.
Yeah.
But I got to go visit Germany, Amsterdam, Netherlands, Switzerland, Belgium, Florida. Not Florida. Florida's not in there. I don't know why I said that. London, and I think there was somewhere else. But
wow.
Yeah, I think about that often, and I got to go see like the Anne Frank house and just impactful monuments, and I love to travel now because of that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that would make anybody want to travel. Yeah, that is so awesome. Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes, green card.
Green card. What time do you wake up?
Yeah. For me, somebody was just telling me today, I don't know how you have all the energy. You wake up at like 5:30, right? And I was like, no, I wake up at 4:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
I love a good early morning.
Early mornings are really nice. Yeah. I wish, well, I don't have a specific answer because everything's always kind of so crazy. But like I said earlier, just kind of at least a few hours, so I can have time in the morning if that's, 1:30 a.m. or if it's 6:30 a.m. or if it, whatever it looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly why I get up. So I have a few hours to myself.
Yes.
Yeah. If you had your own gym, what is your number one must-have?
Oh.
If you could pick anything.
That is a great question. That's a really great question. I don't know. A therapy pony in the back.
Hey.
Yeah, just a petting zoo in the back of the gym. Yeah, for, emotional health.
You know, you can even go like a whole ag route with that. You could do like the goat yoga.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely. Maybe I should do that.
Maybe you should do that. Maybe that's the next thing.
That's the next thing. I love it. What about you?
I have said this one multiple times and I'm still going to stand by it. A DJ.
Ooh.
Please put a DJ in a gym.
Yes.
With some like cool aesthetic, like good lighting or like mirrors that have like the lights around them.
Yeah.
And a DJ that you could do like song requests and like they mix it in. Yeah. You'd probably have to have a few DJs to like accommodate. But
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's your next thing.
Yeah. Somebody give me a DJ.
For real.
All right. Let's go blue card.
Blue card. Okay. If you could give your younger self advice, what would you say?
Life looks completely different. Yeah. Because, you know, whenever I was like a senior in high school, I wanted to be a nurse.
Oh,
and
yeah?
It's nowhere close to like what I'm into now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, life just changes rapidly and like it's going to work out the way it's supposed to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. For my younger self, let's see. I don't know. That's a tough one. Probably just still be nice to people, still pour into people, but I'm trying to think of a way to say this, you know, nicely that it doesn't, you know, I expect myself from other people a lot. And, you know, maybe they don't have the same mindset as I do, you know, as far as being kind and everything. So, you know, still be kind to people, still be nice to people, still pour into people, help them, but understand that they're on their own path and sometimes they're not ready to reciprocate. Mm-hmm. And so they may take your help and then leave, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad person. It just means that maybe they're not, you know, healed enough to reciprocate yet.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Yeah, because you do run into that everywhere. Mm-hmm. At work, friend groups, family. Like, yes. And then there are times where we are that person too.
Oh,
to
yeah,
others.
definitely.
Yeah. Solid advice.
I hope so.
If you woke up as a superhero, what does your outfit look like and what are your powers?
Ooh, my outfit would be comfortable. Something that I could, you know, still move in and be comfortable. Doesn't have to be real flashy. It'd probably be black. I wear black a lot, all the time. So, but cool, you know, for this Texas summer. And then my superpower, I don't know, it's kind of different. I would love to be able to basically maybe just like touch something like old building and see all the history of the building or, you know, even a person, you know, maybe like put my hand on their shoulder and understand them better by seeing what they've been through. So yeah, I don't know if that's technically a superpower.
Hey, we're going to roll with that because I think that's my favorite answer to that question.
Okay, yay.
Yeah, I've never even considered like a touch.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, flying would be cool too, so.
Yeah. I would say, first off, like Kim Possible unitard, but we're going pink and green.
I love it.
Everything in the gym is pink and green, you guys. And then my superpower, I would like to be able to know like what people are going through. Yeah. I give out stickers all the time. Yeah. And so in a way of like, maybe like, I don't want to be intrusive, but like mind reading in a way so you could be like, oh, like this person's like really going through it or like this person is having a fantastic day today. Yeah. Like, I don't know, something along that lines and then being able to give the right sticker.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
I love it.
Pink card.
Here we go. Ooh, how do you feel about cardio?
Cardio is essential for my training now, and so I have to find ways to learned to love it. Ski erg, because I'm in the boot, ski erg is my go-to, that and the assault bike,
Yes,
which the assault bike is death.
Yeah, for real.
But it gets the job done. So
Yeah.
I have no choice but to love cardio.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's kind of your job. Cardio is your job. Yeah. It's a love-hate relationship. There are some days where I can just, put on some music and run forever. And then there's days where I'm like, I'm walking too fast. It's on 3. I'm like, I can't do it, it depends on the day, I guess. But it's very necessary. I have been trying to incorporate more sprints because it is so, good for you. But
cardiovascular.
Cardio. but no, it's not bad. It's just, maybe lifting weights faster. Does that count?
Yeah.
There you go.
More reps.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to do one more card and we'll wrap it up. If you could teach the world one concept, what would you teach?
Oh, snap. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of goes back to, just being kind to each other because you truly never know what somebody's going through. They can look like the happiest person on earth and they're hurting the most, So just understanding that this world is, so big. There's so much pain, but, there's the saying, hurt people, but healed people can help heal people. And so really trying to do the best we can to just spread that kindness. And because you never know, a smile can make, all the difference to somebody that day. And maybe that's all they need is that one smile to keep on going and, for another day. And you can be that smile for somebody. So just, taking into account, like, there's other stuff going on in the world. It's taking ourselves out of it and being less, I guess, self-centered and more people-centered.
Which is a hard concept to grasp because we live within our minds all day, every day.
Definitely.
Yeah, but very much needed. Yeah, one of my favorite answers for this question is self-love because you do have to work on yourself. You have to work on healing. You've got to love yourself enough to heal. And once you're able to look in and give yourself compassion and love yourself for everything you've been through, then it makes it easier to give that love out to others too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Such good stuff,
you
guys. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors and we will be back soon. Are you looking to get stronger, faster, and feel unstoppable? Orange Theory Fitness is science-backed and coach-inspired, ready to get you fit. And guess what? Your first class is free. So hop on over to Orange Theory Fitness. They are located over by Nukes and Chick-fil-A. Is Ben Zaruba in better shape than your roof? Ben Zaruba isn't just an active gym goer, he also owns and runs CRC Roofing. So make sure you give him a call today because we want your house having gains too, right? And we are back for 4 questions. I am going to ask you 4 questions that I ask every single person. And my first one is, what is your current biggest struggle?
Oh, my biggest struggle. Patience. I would say patience in a lot of ways. Being in management, we talked about that earlier. People just drive you crazy, but just in the world in general, people drive you crazy, but going back to understanding okay, there's something going on with them. I may not know it, but they're acting out because of that. And maybe they're taking it out on you for that reason. So really reminding myself of that. And, having patience with myself as well. Going through just some stuff recently, my faith has really been tested. And so just having the patience and, with myself to not rush through a season that God wants me to stay in and, trying to focus on what I need to learn from him versus what I can get from him. And so, yeah, really having patience, with myself and my faith, and trying to strengthen that, and knowing that, all of these things are going to pay off in the end, with patience and endurance. Yeah.
Gives me chills. Okay, so we're going to flip that around. What is something that you have done that you're proud of?
So something that I'm very proud of is, people have always come to me, and strangers, people that I know, friends, family, children, adults. Throughout my whole life, people have always come to me and shared what they're going through. Sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger about your problems. And so I found that, even when I was a child, people would I would say, oh, hello, or just look at somebody, and adults even would like kind of vent. And I used to think it was like annoying, like I'm 10, like I can't help you with, your drug addiction or your, everything that you're telling me about. Like, ma'am, I'm 10. But then as I got older, I realized, what a gift that is, that I have a way to listen to people, and it ties in with journalism too. Telling people stories, a lot of times it is therapeutic for them, and so they may not see a therapist, but getting it out and telling me is a form of therapy for them. And so I'm very proud that I can be that safe place for people to listen to them and to help them, and understanding, okay, that is my job. I may not be able to see them through their entire journey, but right here, right now, I can meet them where they are and listen and help them, deal with things in the way that they need to deal with them right now. And sometimes that's by sharing their story with me publicly, or sharing it with me privately. And, I'm never going to judge somebody. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to say, no matter what, you're loved. And that's really, what I've come to learn is a gift. And that's probably what I'm most proud of. Yeah.
That's a good gift to have, too. Don't lose it. Hold on to it.
Yes, I'm trying.
Okay, if you could give honorable mention to anybody listening, who would you choose and why?
Oh, man. Well, Jesus is the GOAT. But yeah, my mom, she's been so influential. She's been such a great role model for me. Just it's kind of different, but a lot of strangers have really made an impact in my life. And sometimes I only, meet them once and I never see them again, but they've left such a mark on me that, again, it goes back, it all comes from Jesus, and he put them in my life for just that one moment, just that one season. But they taught me so much. Sometimes I don't even know their names. But you can always learn from somebody if your eyes are open and your ears are open. And, you see people, you don't just look at them. So I don't know all their names, but there's a bunch of strangers who've made a huge impact on me. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that there are many times where we have probably impacted somebody like that too, and we have no idea.
You have no idea. Yeah.
Be kind, you guys.
Yeah, most definitely, always.
My last question for you is, if you could give advice to anybody listening, what is the best advice you have?
It kind of goes back to everything we've talked about, is just, being kind and being considerate, and understanding that, our job really in life is to just meet people where they are and help them. And you've probably heard this phrase before, we're all just walking each other home. And my home, I believe, is heaven for all of us. So just trying to help people understand that, they are loved. Jesus is for everybody. He came to save us all. And so, doing that in not a preachy way, but showcasing that with our actions and our words and just showing people love no matter what. So I think I would pass that message on to other people, is just show people love no matter what, because it can make such a difference in their lives. You can be that stranger that helps them, stay here on this earth for another day. And so, yeah, just sharing that with other people and giving them that advice, just it's all just about showing love. So just keep doing that.
I have time. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Okay. So you keep talking about showing people love. Was there a time that you didn't feel loved and now that's why?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Everybody, I think, goes through that, whether that's in your childhood or adolescence or, even adulthood. There's times in everybody's life where, and maybe it's multiple times, we all go through cycles and everything. But, speaking of cycles, I think love can break a lot of those bad cycles. And so, it's not, like I said, it's not, maybe not our job to walk with someone through their entire life or their entire, journey of healing, but we can plant that seed that, okay, maybe I am loved. Maybe there is good in this world. Maybe I can, find help, and maybe I can have hope. And so, I mean, everybody has not felt worthy or loved or, accepted, or they felt hopeless. So that's everybody all over the world, no matter what age you are, it can come and it can attack you and get in your head. And so fighting those attacks through showing others love, it really, in my opinion, can break a lot of those cycles and start the healing cycle for somebody else.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add in?
No, I mean, we covered a lot.
We did cover a lot.
We had therapy here.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, you guys, that concludes this episode. I hope you learned lots of things, but most importantly, I hope you learned that everybody is going through something. You are never alone, and there is always an opportunity to do something kind for somebody. With that being said, special shout out to our sponsors, because without them, we wouldn't be here. So Maximus Nutrition with all the smoothies, CRC Roofing, get your roof checked, and then Orange Theory Fitness and Training from the Ground Up. I hope you have a beautiful day, friends. Bye. Another shout out to Maximus Nutrition. Make sure you guys hop on over there for a smoothie. You guys know that pina colada is my favorite.